Yes, and you're listening to the Marky Ramone Show on WECS, and wow, here we go. All right, I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be. Here we go. Welcome to WECS, Kirsten.
Thank you.
It's Kirsten, right?
Yeah.
I keep screwing it up in my head somehow. I don't know if it's Kirsten or Kirsten or Kirsten or...
Well, it's actually Kirsten.
It is Kirsten.
It is Kirsten, but people call me everything but that. It's name, so I'm used to it.
I'm going to drill it into my head right now. Oh, boy. Let's start off and give us a little background on In June. When did you form, and how do you know each other and all the members?
The guitar player and I met each other in college. He was the station manager of the radio station at Lewis and Clark College here in Portland. And we'd both been musicians for years and years and years, and I had wanted to put together a band. I had a bass player friend of mine who needed a guitar player, and so I called Dave one day and said, "You want to play guitar in my band?" And he said, okay, and it just kind of started from there, and we found that we really liked the kind of music that we ended up creating together. And we started out actually just doing, the original band kind of broke up, and so we started doing acoustic stuff, just the two of us, around town, and then we got the rhythm section together, and one thing led to another. We kept playing out live a lot, and we really felt that what we were doing was something that we wanted other people to hear. And we are kind of impatient, and we didn't want to take the traditional route of just waiting for a record company to find us.
Yeah.
So we started Rust Records out of our studio apartment, and we basically do everything that a label does except for the money end of it. And the videos and all that, because we can't afford that. But in terms of getting the music out there to radio stations and doing the tracking calls and all that, and that's been, we had our first full-length CD that we released nationally 2 years ago, and then we released a follow-up to that last fall, and then a single in the spring, and both the single and the CD made college radio top 150, and it's just been full speed ahead ever since.
Great.
Yeah.
You brought up something I wanted to touch on. It seems like you've done what an increasing number of undiscovered bands have done as an alternative to signing with a major label, which is to start your own.
Right.
And you said it's working out for you, or?
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I mean, it's working in that we're achieving our main goals of, people are hearing it and they're responding, and I think if you're any kind of a creative person and you have something that you create, that's your main goal. You want it out there. But the flip side of that is that you want to be able to support yourself by doing that full time. And I had to get my first full-time job last fall just to pay for everything that we've been doing. Yeah. Up until then, I just worked part-time. Dave worked full-time, and then I ran the record label the rest of the time. It's worked in the sense, like I said, that it gets it out there, but it's hard financially, and then that impacts touring and things like that. I think if we were ever really going to take it to the next level, we could keep doing this, releasing things and getting airplay, but in terms of really, really making it work on a big scale, we'd have to get a really large sum of money at once and just kind of launch it full speed.
Would you consider signing up with a major label if they offered it to you, or to help you out, or?
I would if I could keep the artistic freedom and keep the control, and I think that would be a large part of the problem with something like that, just because Dave and I know what we're doing now, and we've proved. So I don't think that we would be so apt to let ourselves be taken advantage of, or to let somebody else control what we're doing. But I'm at the point now. I've been doing this for 5 years, and it would be really nice to be able to quit and never have to do another job again. And just do music and be on the road and be doing this sort of thing, interviews and all that.
So you wouldn't want to compromise your principles and give up your individuality for the money of a big label?
Mm-mm.
No, that's good.
I mean, if push came to shove, I don't think I could do it. I might be tempted.
Oh, yeah. Who wouldn't be? There's not too many people who would say no, too.
Yeah. But, the feeling, the payback really has been, things like this, where people call us or write us out of the blue that are listening to our stuff, and people write about us in their dialogues in CMJ, and we get letters and everything all the time, and that's what makes it really worth it and makes us just really confident that we made the right choice. I think I'd feel more comfortable if a cool indie label, that had some integrity, could go in on a 50-50 type thing to help us out with touring.
Yeah.
But
from what I hear, 0 Hours are pretty good. They're independent.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. I've heard good things about them, too.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We just spoke with, a couple weeks ago, I spoke with one of their bands, 22 Brides.
Mm-hmm.
They were really good, too.
Yeah.
I think one of the main reasons why I can play what I call undiscovered music like yours, as opposed to the same songs you hear on the every hour on the commercial radio, is that bands like In June are equally, if not more talented than the big hitters like Pearl Jam and R.E.M. The only difference being really is that they have the benefits of a major label, but
right.
You're keeping yourself motivated and you're going to hang in there?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I say that now, you caught me on a good day. I mean, honestly, there are moments when it is just so incredibly difficult I think the hardest thing is balancing what it feels like two separate lives. When I have to go to work every day and just be somewhat normal and dress normal, and then come home and my real life starts.
Yeah.
With the
doing
record.
what you really want to do.
Exactly, and that has been, I feel, Dave and I both feel like we're just two different people sometimes, and that's really hard. But, yeah, I mean, the other thing that's really positive about doing what we're doing is that we can take risks that that a lot of those bands can't.
Yeah. That
have these major record deals that are locked into, 8 albums or something, and we can do whatever we want.
Right.
On our albums and with our songs, and that, in terms of creative freedom, that's pretty important.
Are you being played on any of the commercial radio stations or just college right now?
No, we get a fair amount of commercial and public radio across the country too. And the other interesting thing is it's pretty scattered across the country pretty evenly. I mean, there aren't any stronger pockets than others in terms of areas or regions of the U.S., so we found that to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But we market mostly to college radio. I mean, we get the larger percentage of airplay there because we sent more records out to college radio.
How do they classify your music as? Do they classify as alternative or?
Yeah, generally alternative. But that's become such a, I don't know, nonsensical term anymore.
Yeah, definitely. It's too generic now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm always joking about how the nightlife is so dead in Connecticut, but how is it in Oregon? I mean, sometimes I forget that Oregon is even a state. But do you have trouble finding places to play out there?
No, we have paved roads and things out here.
Oh, really?
No, actually, Portland's a pretty happening music scene. It's a lot like Seattle in terms of there are a lot of clubs and a lot of bands. Too many bands.
Too many grunge bands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem that we run up against because we don't play, grunge per se music. But it's a really vibrant scene. Really, Portland's a really pretty great place.
I'll have to come out there sometime.
Yeah.
Have you ever played outside of Oregon?
We play Seattle quite a bit, and we've done West Coast type things. And we get offers all the time to come out to colleges. What we're trying to do is work something out for the spring in terms of go back and forth across the country twice over 3 months.
Wow.
So, but we're just trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to work a full-time job, yeah.
And that's what's frustrating is that we have the whole thing pretty much mapped out in terms of what colleges would, it would be an easy thing to do in that respect.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so hard. That what's holding us back is, money and the things.
Yeah. That's got to be a bummer, though. I'd hate
it. But, we've managed this far on nothing. I mean, literally like zero money.
Yeah.
And we've managed to find ways to get this stuff out. So we just kind of keep going one day at a time, and things manage to work out.
You got the potential, so, just hang in there. Very recently, you were among 19 other semifinalists in the National Music Showcase competition called SoundCheck.
Yeah.
How did that turn out?
That was wonderful. That was really, really great. They flew some label reps up to see us play a show that we organized just for them at a club here in town, and it was packed, and it was really neat to have that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
We got a lot of press out of it, which really helped kind of legitimize our case here in town to, back to that issue of the fact that we don't play grunge music and all that. But we didn't make that final cut of the 5 bands. Oh. But, it was worth it in terms of the contacts that were made.
You still got something out of it then.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Definitely.
I noticed listening to all your songs, you sometimes get creative using special effects and stuff, especially on a song which is titled Song, where you basically play music and there's like a whale in the background, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who came up with that idea?
That was Dave.
Oh.
That was something he'd wanted to do all his life. He'd wanted to do something like that.
Sing with the whales?
Yeah, and just kind of basically screw around with his effects box and have the tape running and
it came out perfect. I mean, it's really done well.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yeah,
it sounds like the whale's right there in the recording studio.
Yeah, that's from an old national, do you ever, like, with different magazines, they send out those little square-shaped pieces of vinyl that you can...
the little floppy things?
Right, yeah. That's off of one of those from a National Geographic from the 70s. Huh. And it still turned out that well.
Wow.
But, yeah, the engineer and I just kind of let Dave play, and and that's what he came up with.
It's great.
Yeah.
Let me see. We've already got... I have a whole list of questions here, and we've already gone over some of them. Think Twice, which is off the Ungawa Beep Beep,
right.
Your second CD.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent song. It's about an old lover who didn't work out but wanted to get back together, I believe.
Yeah.
Do you usually base your songs on personal experiences or whatever comes up at the time?
Yeah, they're all based on personal experiences, which gets me in trouble sometimes. I end up revealing more of myself than I really intended to. But, it's the only way that I can write, really.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's another thing about commercialized radio. It seems like a lot of the songs are just, factory produced. Right.
And then they don't end up having or coming across like they have any real depth or, not that my songs do necessarily, but it's just from my perspective, I can't sing something that I don't feel.
Yeah.
And I can't feel something that I just make up, I've tried it, but it doesn't work. So, yeah.
You also do a cover of I Apologize from Husker Du.
Right.
Do you do any other covers or?
Tattooed Love Boys by the Pretenders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but let's see, those are the only two, pretty much. I think that's something that we have fun with, and I mean, we do it in terms of screwing around with practice and stuff, but in terms of putting stuff like that on an album, we just have so much material. We're constantly writing new stuff, and it's just, we're just overflowing with stuff to release, and so we end up making the decision that we'd rather have people hear our stuff.
That's unusual, because seems like a lot of bands, when they first start off, they have to rely on doing covers before they can get their, creative talents, and that's good.
Yeah, I think part of it is that we've both been writing music for so long. I mean, even before we were involved in like an organized band. I started actually singing jazz around Portland and nightclubs for a couple of years when I was in college, and it just kind of went from there in terms of writing our own stuff.
Are you romantically involved with anyone right now?
Actually, yeah, Dave and I are getting married in 3 weeks.
Oh, congratulations! Huh.
So, yeah, I guess you'd say we were involved.
I guess you are.
Yep.
That's not going to create any problems with the band, is it, now?
No, I know. You don't have to worry about the band breaking up.
Does he ever get jealous, like when you're playing at a club? I can imagine a bunch of guys must, start flirting with you and...
At the beginning, he did. It used to really bother him.
Oh.
But now he thinks it's more funny than anything. Because it really is. I mean, the way that it's done most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about the kind of person that would come up and, like, try to hit on me in the ways that they do, and they don't know me, it's pretty funny, usually. I've gotten marriage proposals and stuff with people that seem totally serious.
Oh, there's a bunch of crazies out there.
Crazies.
Gotta watch out for that.
Well, you know what happens when you have a couple of beers, too.
That helps, yeah.
Changes everything, I think.
He probably has a lot of women hitting on him, too, though, huh?
Yeah, he does. He does. It's pretty funny. But
is he the one that's on the back cover with you on Ungawa?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's him.
He's a decent-looking man, I must say. From a male perspective.
You said so.
Oh, boy. Now, how can we get your CDs? Or, I mean, I've looked everywhere, and I cannot see them in any, record shops.
Right. We have really limited distribution. We have, like, West Coast, stretching to Midwest through a local distribution company, and then we have East Coast through a company called Com4. They're actually out of Holland, but it's really, really limited. And that's the other goal of Rust Records, is to try to get, I mean, that takes big bucks, too, in terms of massive distribution. But the best way to really do it is to write us, and we'll send out. That's what most people do.
Yeah.
They get our address off of our sleeves or something, our record jackets, and then we just send it out.
If you want a CD from in June, give me a call later on the show, and I've got the address, and if you need it, give me a call, 456-2164.
Let's see, I asked you before, you'd been doing this for 4 years.
Yeah.
And your show is what's the format of the whole radio station? Is it pretty much alternative college radio type based? Or?
Yeah, we have a good mix. We on the weekends we have like the folk programming in Spanish, Latin, all that, and there's a good mix of rap and rock and everything. So we're definitely something different. That's our catch line. We're something different. But
that's so important. I just hope that radio stations like yours stay around, because I can honestly say that I don't think we would have kept going if we hadn't had the support of college radio. Yeah,
college radio is good for that, giving the new bands a chance.
Yeah, it's really true.
Because you're not going to get it from commercial radio unless everybody knows you, unless you have a video on MTV,
Exactly.
It's too bad you can't come up with about $25,000 and put a video out.
I know, I'm working on it.
It's only $25,000. That'll be great to see you in a video, though.
Yeah, well, we have some friends that we've been talking to that are involved. Portland also has a pretty big, or up-and-coming movie industry. A lot of people from California are moving up here, and a lot of studios are starting up, and so we have some contacts, people who might cut us some deals. So it may happen sooner than later.
Well, we can't wait.
Thanks.
Again, back to Think Twice. In the beginning of the song, I'm going to play it real quick just so everybody can hear it, because you probably haven't heard it before. Here we go.
That was interesting. That Think Twice was actually the only song on that album that we weren't intending to put that on.
Oh, no?
That was a song that Dave and I used to do when we did the duo stuff all over town. And we were just warming up, and our engineer ran the tape, and we didn't know.
Oh.
And we were just screwing around.
So that's
why Dave does those really strange, kind of goofy, and that's why I'm laughing, because we're just like, having fun. And then we got done, and the engineer was like, "That's a take." We're like,
I think you just answered my question before I even asked it of you.
oh,
It's
really?
in the beginning of the song. Is this it? No, it's not. Where is it? I think I have the wrong CD in here.
Yeah,
Don't be
it's
afraid to
on.
experiment.
Oh, here we go. Here it is.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Now, you didn't know that you were going to have that.
Mm-mm.
Where you say, don't be afraid to experiment.
Well, that's the hard. I always do. That's like a joke that Dave and I have going, because he'll just go like off the wall, and we had a problem with that. Well, not a problem, but when we were actually recording, like for real, some of the songs, Dave would just go off on these tangents and not tell anyone, and we'd be like, the tape would be going, we'd be all ready to record, and he would just start screwing around. So I was just kind of like kidding him about it.
Huh.
Yeah, it ended up working out.
I thought that maybe there was some secret message in there or something. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Oh, yeah, social message. Well, you could turn it into that if you'd like.
Yeah, you never know. All right, Kirsten, right?
Yep.
Kirsten Rian of In June. I want to thank you for coming on the show, and lots of luck to you. I hope we get to see you out here on the East Coast sometime.
Yeah, well, I think it should be pretty soon. I'll definitely let you guys know. It would be fun to come and do something in the studio or play on your campus.
Yeah, there's not only do we have Eastern Connecticut State University, which is us, and the next town over is UConn.
Ah.
You probably heard of UConn, right? No, I guess you're not into basketball then. They're a big basketball team now, but they're a good college too. They're right next door, and we have fun with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely let you know.
Good. All right, well, thanks a lot. Stay on the line, okay?
Okay.
All right, and that's Kirsten Rian of In June, right here at WECS. And let's go to the song we we're just talking about, which is Think Twice. Very good song, and here we go. I've got the right CD this time, I think.
Don't be afraid to experiment.